video to go on for YouTube. Great hymn, everybody. You all sounded so nice today when we sang that beautiful hymn. Good morning. Good morning. We've been tracking this Lenten season. I don't want to miss the beautiful readings today. They're profound. The Ten Commandments again, Psalm 19, one of my favorites. Paul, and then Jesus, of course. He was talking in the temple of his body. Beautiful readings. But we need to attend to the journey that we have been on for this season. This season of Lent with the 23rd Psalm. We've been tracking, if you've been with us or if you haven't, we've been tracking one couplet in the season of Lent, and we've been taking time to drill down with each one of these beautiful sections of Psalm 23. It's the third couplet's third Sunday in Lent. And by way of introduction, I want to take you with me to December 24th and December 25th of every year in the church. People tell me, and I appreciate this, "Oh, you must be so tired after all those Christmas services." We do have an epic pageant. It's a very full contact pageant. We have 3 or 4 other services that day into the evening. I get home about 12:45 in the morning. And then we have a Christmas morning service as well. We'll serve between 1,100 and 1,300, somewhere in there, people in less than 24 hours. I wish you could come with me to the back of those churches at the very end of each service, because I have the privilege of greeting. I shake so many hands, hug so many people, and we fit, literally, a year of visiting with some folks into 35 or 40 seconds. The young children in 1995 and 1996, when I first arrived, are now bringing young children of their own. And I have the privilege of watching them grow up over time. I have people that tell me about their travel schedule and how long it took to come to their very special place, because this is their specialist place in the world. There's nowhere they'd rather be. They've been thinking about this all year, and they made it, and they're here. And they want to announce that to me as they come to the back of the church. We've had couples come to ask me if it was okay if they could get married in our church. We've had couples that come and the man is auditioning to be married in our church. And the woman hugs me and says in a whisper, "What do you think?" As if I'm supposed to, on the spot, dictate the rest of her life. It's a little intimidating. We've had couples come where they both give me a hug and they say, "Do you remember what we looked like last year?" And I say, "Yes." And they say, "We made it another year and we're married." And I'm like, "Hallelujah, Jesus, praise God." Great. I said, "Here it is. Come back again, side by side, next year." We had a woman who was so anxious to be married during the process that she hyperventilated before the rehearsal. We got through it. And she and her husband, 1 year later, Christmas Day, come walking up the aisle of the Vail Chapel, and she's touching her stomach. She's got a baby inside. And the husband had tears in his eyes. And we had an instant baptismal appointment on the spot in advance. What I love about Christmas Eve and Christmas Day is all the life and all the invigorating visits that I am privileged to have. This church is about life and living. And this is the theme of the couplet that the psalmist gives us We started 3 weeks ago. Emily preached a great sermon on that opening couplet. It's printed there on page 9 if you want to take a look. The first 3 couplets. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. The intensely personal introduction, the word my, one of the few times the word my is mentioned in the Hebrew Bible. Not our, my shepherd. This intensely personal connection between God and me. Emily preached a sermon between want and needing. Do you remember that? The word want in English used to be, do you have enough? Now she talked about 7 and 3-year-old sons. I told her after the sermon, Emily, I'm 53, it's the same way. You take an adult man anywhere. I want that! That's what I want. I want it right there. Look at that, I want that. I mean, how do men ever sound differently than they're 7? Never, as far as I know. And God always gives us what we need, for sure. Last Sunday, I reflected about God makes us lie down in green pastures and still waters. Remember I took you to some of the places that I have found green pastures and still waters, and the word Shabbat in Hebrew, which means to stop. And how bad I am at stopping. And how important it is to stop. To let God be the boss. And to truly rest and recharge. Walter Brueggemann, the great Old Testament theologian, talks about primary testimony in the Bible. This is your lead witness. If you're a lawyer, it's a legal term. It's a legal image. The lead witness is your best witness. And you put that lead witness on the stand, and it's primary testimony about the most important thing in the trial. And Walter Brueggemann says, this is primary testimony, all of Psalm 23. And the witness on the stand is saying, he makes me lie down in green pastures. Is this the kind of God that the lawyer asked the witness? And the witness says, he makes me lie down in green pasture. He leads me beside the still waters. This week, that primary witness continues that strong testimony. He revives my soul. He guides me along right pathways for his name's sake. It's a shocking statement because there's no word in Hebrew for soul. They have to borrow a word. Nephesh is the word in Hebrew. The best English word is soul. The Hebrew means borrowed breath. The Hebrew Bible tells us, the Old Testament tells us that when God created human beings, he breathed into Adam the breath of life. And that's how Adam became alive. So nephesh is God's breath inside of us. That's the word for soul. And it's an interesting word. It is not biological or medical. It's metaphysical. It's supernatural. It's the thing that's deepest inside of us. Reviving souls. Now, I want to tell you, as I reflected on this psalm, I have to be honest with you to say from time to time in the Vail Valley, I notice that we have people that can do amazing work on faces. I myself should have an extreme makeover on my face. If you need face work, we know someone for that. We got that. If you need elbows, knees, ankles, hips, shoulders, cheekbones, we got a guy for that, or a woman. We've got people for just about hearts, babies, elder care. We've got it all. Notice that it's a little thinner when we talk about the soul. But who do you call for an extreme makeover for your soul? There's the witness on the stand, the psalmist, saying there's only one place to go. It's the best place to go. It's not so far. God takes care of souls. Some of you know that when they scheduled, finally, after months of delay, they scheduled the commissioning of the USS Gerald R. Ford supercarrier last summer. I had been in conversation with Susan Ford Bales. Do you know, those of you, I mean, I'm sure everybody knows this because you know the Navy, that every ship has a sponsor, and by long tradition, every ship sponsor is female. And what do they say? The men run it, but the women know how to launch it. So Susan Ford Bales is the sponsor of our new supercarrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, 100,000 tons of foreign diplomacy coming right at you. And Susan was kind enough to give Steve and I tickets. Now Steve is a submariner. He served in the Navy. He was a supply officer on the USS Nathaniel Greene. Does everybody know this? He spent 2 tours. He's the one that counted out the food to make sure you don't run out. If you're in 70 days of a 90-day and you're under the water and you run out of coffee, bad deal. Bad deal. Steve had to count out eggs, meat, everything. So this is perfect training for the Episcopal Church. Just imagine you're under the water trying to protect people and dole out food. This sounds like our church perfectly. So Steve did that. He took his actuarial exams while he was under the boat. He had his second son born. He said Karen did all the work. I was under the water. And so Steve himself is a Navy veteran, supply officer. They have a different set of PIPs. So Steve and I go out to Norfolk, Virginia. It's 102 degrees before you get on the metal ship. Steve said, what do I wear? I said, I'll wear the one thing that outranks anybody that we're going to see. This right here is a ticket. So Steve and I wore our black shirts, 102 degrees, with blazers and this collar. We got purple tickets. We didn't know what that meant. I said, Steve, just trust this. We walk until someone with a gun tells us to stop. So we go down the hotel the morning of the commissioning, and here's the entire Ford family waiting for the bus. They looked at us, we looked at them, we started talking about Beaver Creek, and we got on the bus with the Ford family. Walked past all those donors, it was awesome. Get in the bus, we're chatting about skiing the entire way out. We get around the back, not the front, the back. We go through this little security with dogs and guns, and we're walking up to the gangplank of the ship. And one of my great treasures is a photo Steve and I took with the gangplank of the ship. Some of you have seen that photo. They ran it in Vail. So we get to the gangplank. Here's a guy with an M16. Steve looked at me. He looked up at the ship, because a lot of people sitting outside. I looked at Steve. I said, come on. We walked up to the guy with the gun who saluted us. Steve saluted back in my best Florida cracker fashion. I went, hey! And we went up the gangplank. Steve said, how far are we going to go? I said, I don't know. We got to the middle of the ship, the big cargo bay where the ceremony was. Huge row of cameras. There are 8,000 people to the left of the cameras. But the cameras are blocking the view. You can't see. They were watching big monitors. Steve looked at me and he said, should we go left? It's one of the great moments of our relationship. I said, Steve, you've never asked me to go left before, about anything. Let's go right. And do you remember what do you call it? The seats, the metal seats? Bleachers that are behind the president every time he talks. There they were, the metal bleachers. Steve says, there's no space. I said, sure there's going to be space. We plow right up into those bleachers. I have no idea what a purple ticket does. Still don't know. He said, excuse us, we're going to sit down right here. Everybody moved aside. Turns out we were the only 2 people in the section that knew Jerry and Betty Ford. Everybody else were guests of companies. People brought us drinks. It was fantastic. We had a party on the left side of those stands. We were 12 yards from the podium. And then the music started. And when that band kicked up, everybody stood up. Our deacon started weeping. And he wept through that entire ceremony. When the sailors ran up at the very end to man the ship, the And Susan Ford Vail said, "Man our ship and bring her to life." Steve, actually, we leaned on each other. It's a beautiful moment. I saw all the parts of his life come together at one time. Do you know, afterwards we ran into a supply officer captain who saluted Steve and stood with a picture because our deacon had done supply himself. And it was a privilege to stand with him, the captain said. This is an amazing moment. That's soul reviving. That's what God does. He takes all of the parts of our life and he's able to give meaning and purpose and to vivify the stuff that seems dead. Every once in a while, someone walks in this church and biologically they're fine, and soul-wise, they are deader than a doornail. And we have the privilege of watching God revivify, restore, and renew someone's soul. That's what the psalmist is talking about. Guiding me along right pathways for his name's sake. Do you find it ironic that before we knew the schedule of the Oscar ceremonies, this couplet landed on this Sunday? This afternoon at 4:30 p.m., we're going to start in our house what's called the red carpet party. I have daughters. The red carpet party. You'll see. That's when we watch people that we will never look like strut up a large red carpet with commentary from expert analysts. They will stop at a microphone and they will provide their professional expertise in world affairs and politics because they attended USC's film school and had a break during a Shakespeare production. And they get to tell hundreds of millions of people exactly how the world should be. It's a beautiful thing to watch. I've always sat during the red carpet party as the minority vote in my house, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if a limousine pulled up and one of the great humanitarian leaders of the world, warts and all, what if they got out of the limousine? They walked up the red carpet. What if they leaned into the microphone and talked about their hope for the world? I'd so much rather listen to someone that doesn't look half as good, but had dedicated their life to serving the world. Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine if a monk or a nun got out of the limousine in their habit and walked up to the microphone? Someone that dedicated their entire life to serving God to the exclusion of any other benefit. Boy, I'd like to listen to them. You know, that Lent madness, so fun that we do, every single one of those people gave their lives because God had revived their soul. Do you notice the implicit assumption in the psalmist's testimony? There's right pathways. The psalmist doesn't even say it. If there's right pathways, what else is there? I'm sorry, again please for the video. Really? You mean there are ways to go in life that take us down dark roads into chaos and confusion? Really? Right pathways. So friends, I have a friend in our church who was suffering with alcohol. And his family and I got quite concerned about his life. And so we had a visit one day with our friend. And we said, you know, you have a choice. Could you get in the car? Sure. Okay, we're going to get in the car. We're going to drive to the Vail Medical Center. Remember a long time ago when it was called the Vail Medical Center? We drive to the medical center. And we got out and had a little exam. And we said to our friend, okay, here's your decision. You can go back to your garage, or you can go forward into a new life. Where are we going? Don't worry about that. How much does it cost? Not your concern. How long will I be gone? 30 days. Well, why should I go? Your life is that way. Your death is this way. I remember by myself with him in one moment. He said, every cell in my body wants to go back. But something inside of me wants to listen to you to go forward. I was privileged in that moment to watch a brother in Christ choose the right pathway. He's with us today, living his life. Can I tell you, friends, that so many of you, and I've heard you one way or another, so many of you have expressed concern for me, for my family, and I need to reply to you with all candor in words that I need to edit for young ears. 2017 was terrible. It was. We had several people die that we loved very much, and a major health diagnosis in our own household. 2018 is a year of recovery for us, and I am trying to spend time and do things that take care of myself a little better and the people I love a little better. It's true. So if you want to know how we're doing, the answer is, I've been better, and I'm working on it. I tell you this because I didn't know that God had a pathway for me during this Lenten season. I had all my Lenten disciplines all lined out. I'm not going to drink. I'm going to work out every day. I had it all lined out. I haven't kept one of those 100%. Does that surprise you? Scottish. Good health is hard to find. Can I tell you that the one discipline I didn't know that God had for me is every single day of the Lenten season, without exception, I have been with people who I love deeply and who are loving me deeply. They're talking to me about right pathways for my life. They're giving me space to do the recovery that I need to do. I'm trying to be with the people that are closest to me this Lenten season, in my household, in my marriage. I'm trying to be with the people that I care about in this world. This is the Lent discipline I didn't know that God had for me. This is my pathway this Lent. What's yours? Where is your right path? Where's God's voice calling to you about life and living? About a soul to be revived and restored and renewed? Where's your right pathway? And where are all the other pathways that are wrong? The psalmist promises us a revived soul and the right path. That God can do this when no one else can. Interesting Lent, isn't it? He revives my soul and guides me along right pathways for his name's sake. Amen.